Hey guys, welcome to Copernicus Corner. I am back in EverQuest Legends, hopefully loading in as my reserve hard over in Northern Felwithe at the moment. I think the last thing I had logged out in anticipation of doing was some uh, fishing, right? So here we are, and it looks like I'm at the edge of the moat. I guess it's a moat. Don't know if we would call it a moat or not, but it's a waterway in front of Kellethan. Not exactly a moat, I don't know. It's hard to say if it would be considered a moat. It doesn't go all the way around the castle, as far as I can tell. Okay, now, let's find, first of all, where on earth I have my fishing rod. There it is. Okay, let's stick that in primary slot, put that over here in this, so that I can easily switch back to my primary weapon without any trouble. Also make sure that I have my chat going over here. Looks like I do all as well. So, okay. Now, we've got the fishing pole in position, and let us give it a go. So I have the fishing button over here, and I have a macro made for it, so that when we fish, first I fish, then I pause, then I auto merge inventory. That was the hope anyway, and then we auto inventory it. Now, what I'm noting is that it is not auto inventorying as it ought to. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because I think I clicked the fish button twice in an attempt to look at the macro that I had, but I'm not 100% sure of that. We'll see. Also, when I made this macro, the auto merge inventory was not working, and so it was just auto inventorying and not stacking them up. I don't know if that's fixed or not, but hopefully we'll find out soon enough. And it's also possible that my macro is broken for some reason, and that would be why it didn't automatically go into my inventory a moment ago. But we'll continue fishing and see if we can make any progress in that regard. We got fish scales. I think that I can use fish scales to make something, but I don't remember what. My understanding is that fish scales can also be used with an underwater breathing spell. I don't know which class that's for. But my fishing is still pretty low. Looks like I'm at 36 right now. So, we'll see. I'm getting a little better at fishing. Something definitely did auto inventory. It was the tattered cloth sandal that had nothing that it would merge with. So, still don't know if that part of it is working, but certainly the auto inventory is working. Because it basically came onto my cursor and was very quickly put into the inventory. 37 fishing at this point. Now I have quite a bit, I think, of bait left. 36, no, that's not it. Where's my bait? That's the candied spiders, and that's not my bait. I thought I had maybe this is it. Fishing bait, 41 of them left. That's not too shabby. That'll get me a long ways. And you don't always lose your bait. Like you'll notice that it says you cast your line, you didn't catch anything. You cast your line, you didn't catch anything. In other words, we did not lose the bait. This time we caught fish scales. It went into the inventory automatically, but it did not stack, so the auto merge is still not working. Or maybe it is, and it's only working with things that actually merge, like the cloth sandals, as opposed to stuff that just stacks. Not really sure. We click the fishing button again, and then we'll just manually stack those. Sarah Nixon says, "Woot! Absolutely. How you been doing?" So tell me, am I pronouncing your name correctly, or is it Sarah Nixon, or is it Sarah Nixon, or am I completely wrong? So I've kind of been saying Sarah Nixon. Blessed. cool. Alright, there's the fix. Oh, cool. Sarah Nixon says you're the first one to ever pronounce it correctly. Awesome. You've been nailing it. Very good. Very good. I wanted to make sure because I just went with what I thought it was. And then I was like, you know, there are alternatives to that pronunciation. All right, slowly but surely we're getting better at fishing. We have one fresh fish to work with. I had noticed that there were a number of different types of fish that were required for cooking. And because I'm getting a little further along with in the world of cooking, my skills are improving. I want to get some more fish to be able to get a little more progress in that field. So far, primarily getting scales. I'm trying to remember what I used those for previously. I'm pretty sure that they weren't part of the edible goo, but I feel like they were part of some food recipe. Maybe not. I don't know. It's been a little while, but I think it was on beta. I was using them for something. I've definitely been increasing my tools for crafting. So that's why I have these animal-shaped cookie cutters. I have not seen anything to use those with thus far. I'm assuming that perhaps it's a higher level cooking skill needed to make cookies, or perhaps I did see it and then just forgot about it as another option. Because it's possible that I saw it and realized I didn't have what it takes to make it, and then just sort of filed that in the insignificant portion of the old brain. I don't think so, though. Maybe we needed some troll parts or something to make some troll-shaped cookies. Surely not, right? Who knows? Maybe. That would be kind of interesting. Need a little troll meat for that. With all the fishing that I've done thus far in the last few minutes, we've caught 4 of the fish scales, 1 fresh fish, and 1 tattered cloth sandal. I feel like I'm just gonna sell the tattered cloth sandal. I could stack it up, but I really doubt that it's ever going to get good enough to be any sort of competition for my boots of the long road, which are quite reasonable. I didn't level them up too terribly much, but I did get them up to a +4 tier. So, hey, look at that. We've completed the achievement fishing. So we got 50 fishing skill. I'll click this button and let's come click on this achievement. It says, this achievement is completed by reaching 50 skill in fishing. So now I've got 50 skill in a number of places. Total completed, and I guess that's achievements in general, is 25. Category completed 1 out of 4. So the category would be the fishing category, apparently. As soon as we get further along in the fishing, then we get more points toward the total goal, I suppose. Not 100% sure. That's how I'm reading it. Got a summary over there. Check that out soon. But right now, let's fish some more. In fact, let's go check it out now while I'm fishing. Untapped potential. 1 out of 49. So it says races. I guess that's how many races we have unlocked. Classes. These must be unlocks. I don't know how to do unlocks, but I'm assuming that I'll figure it out along the way. I do know, from what I've been told, that there are at least a couple of racial unlocks that can be done in Freeport by doing some kind of quests there that I believe unlocks the wood elves and some other kind of elf. I want to say high elf, but I could definitely be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure wood elves is one of the ones that unlocks in Freeport. Not sure how. Definitely doing quests, but I don't know who for. We got another tattered sandal over there. Now, curiosity makes me wonder, did they merge? They did not merge. So my auto merge, I think it's safe to say, is definitely not working. It's too bad. Maybe it's not implemented in the game yet. Maybe it will be later. Who knows? All right, so we've got general achievements here, it looks like. Advancement, class, level, skills, special, vanity, keys, and progression. Now, vanity, it says 0 of 0. Class, it says 0 of 0. Advancement, 0 of 0. I don't really understand why we have 0 out of 0. Are we going to have the ability to get things in that maybe as I level or as I open up other things by completing other achievements? I'm not really sure why it says 0 out of 0. 0 out of 4, that makes sense. I haven't done any of whatever these keys are. Level, 1 out of 10. No idea. No idea what's going on. We've got trade skill. I've completed 4 out of 52. That was just getting things to level 50. And you can see what those things are right there. It's baking, blacksmithing, brewing, and fishing. It's interesting to me that fishing is considered a trade skill. Like, I thought about it, right? So, you know, a lot of times people will say crafting in the same, you know, in place of saying trade skill, right? So it's a craft or it's a trade skill. I mean, I guess when it comes down to it, fishing would be a trade skill. And I guess you could call it a craft as well. It just isn't what I think of, because I guess I'm taught by EverQuest 2 to think of trade skilling in these games as something where you're making something. And of course in fishing, that's, you're not making something. You put it into more, I mean, it's a hobby certainly, or it's a, it's more in the category of like hunting, right? So you're getting, you know, you're going out there and you're hunting and gathering, I feel like could be in the same category. Are those trade skills? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about calling them trade skills, but it's not what I associate with trade skilling. Then there's something down here called special in the trade skilling, and I don't understand what that is. It says there are 6 of them, whatever this thing is, but I have no idea what else, you know, it would be. I see that there's quests, 0 out of 0, so that implies that there are 0 trade skilling quests. And again, will that be added later? Will that be added at a certain level? I'm not sure. Above, the chemist says, I think the wood elf, high elf racial unlocks are the same muffins and white wine quests that you raised your telephone / Felwithe faction with. You just do them until faction is maxed. Awesome. If so, that's a very doable quest, because you literally just buy wine and buy muffins and feed them to these 2 different people. There's one of them is an elf, and I know that her name is Lady Shay. I remember that. The guy takes the muffins, and I don't recall his name. I could probably find him again if I went to Freeport, but I don't recall what his name was. So hopefully I can get back over there at some point, try that out again. Looks like I've gotten a good number of rusty daggers here. And you know what? Maybe I don't want to have auto merge as part of my macro, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to merge the rusty things. So even if that were happening correctly, maybe that's not what I want. I've got 120, pause 120 there. Do I want to do 130, or do I just want to keep it as is? What if I just do like this and we don't have anything there? Will that work? Let's find out. If I broke the macro, I can always redo it. It did go in, and it felt to me like it didn't stay very long on my cursor. So there's the possibility that I could do like 125, and that might be approximately the right number. I don't know. It really didn't stay very long. And I currently have it pausing 10 after the pausing 120. I feel like I could remove that. I'm gonna try it. Let's go back into the macro by right clicking here. And then I'm going, okay, so I already did take out the 10. We're doing that. Okay, cool. So 120 is about right then. Cool. All right, I'm gonna sell these tattered cloth sandals to a friend of Lanadan over there in a moment, I think. And then we'll have these rusty pieces that we can break down into, well, we'll first want to make them into tarnished daggers, and then we'll turn them into ore, and then we can use them to make various things. I know that I needed more metal bits. I don't actually remember why. I was making something, and maybe it's the ceramic liners, or you know what, I needed a bread tin, a cake tin, and a muffin tin still. So maybe that's what I should do, is use these rusty daggers and ultimately make metal bits with them, and then try to make those those various tins for cooking. I think that sounds like a good time. I think that the cooking will come in handy. Obviously, you have to continue to have food and drink for the entirety of the game, but whether or not it's going to be vital to have it. Oh, I can't fish without a fishing pole. Go buy one. What happened to my fishing pole? Oh heavens! Did I lose it somehow? It's gone. Did it get stolen? I don't know. It doesn't say anything. Your fishing pole broke. Who knew that your fishing pole could break? Brilliant. All right, that's great. Let's get a fishing pole. Fortunately, Lanadan, our friend, is right here, and we can buy a new fishing pole from him, no problem. Just grab a fishing pole. That's crazy that it can break. All right. While we're here, let's get some fishing bait as well. I'm gonna click shift and just get a stack of 100 of those. Now, pretty cool. Let's sell some of the stuff to him as well. So I want to sell these tattered cloth sandals. Not gonna get a lot for them. That's all right. I don't mind. Unfortunately, I don't know any way to sell multiple of them at once. As far as I can tell, we can only sell them one at a time. Sad but true. I also don't see anything else that I want to sell him right now. So, there we are. Now let's put the fishing pole back on. And I have to tune the fishing pole. Crazy. I wonder if we can we merge fishing poles and make better fishing poles? We can. Amazing. I wonder what it does. What's a max level fishing pole do? And the fact that it can break. Can your armor break? I've never seen it happen. Weapons and armor? Anyone know? That would be crazy to have like a maxed out 10 tier fishing pole when it breaks from like trying to catch a tattered shoe. Alright. Let's do some more fishing here. Cool. Above the comments says Pandos, maybe? Probably talking about Muffin Guy. Not planning to do any race unlocks myself, but I was reading over the guide. Some of them are tough to do. Dark Elf is easy. Red Wine Tournament's nice. Okay, so that would imply that... Okay, so we got White Wine Turn-ins. Are those the Wood Elves and the... Wood Elves and possibly High Elves? And then the Dark Elf, you turn in red wine to somebody. Interesting. Getting a little bit better at this whole fishing thing. I wonder if there's fancy fishing poles that we can get at some point, or that we can make. Maybe that'd be super cool. Craft your own fishing pole. Is it part of fletching? If so, fletching should be arrows, but I don't know what all you can do with it. I haven't done any fletching yet. I don't know how you make wooden things. So, what if you wanted a staff? What craft would do that? I guess I can go and look at those achievements, and it would probably have some indication there. Is it L? No, L is not correct. Caught a tattered cloth sandal. Gotta click that fishing again real fast. Okay, so L was bad. K, no, that was bad. I probably interrupted my fish by doing that. Maybe trying random things isn't the way. Above the chemist says, gnomes can tinker a collapsible fishing pole. I'm not sure if that one can break or not. That's super cool. In EverQuest 2, there's I guess perhaps a callback to that. There's a certain kind of, I want to say there's a certain kind of fishing pole that can only be crafted by tinkering. I think that's correct. And it lets you fish in like the lava pools, and you can get this special kind of fish. I believe it's called a magma fish, and I think it's the only fishing pole you can use to get the magma fish, and then you use that to make a special kind of food. It's pretty cool. So that must be as a result of what you can do in EverQuest 1. Pretty neat. I don't obviously have a gnome right now. Maybe that's something that I should do as a loadout so that I can do a tinkering loadout, or just a crafting loadout in general with all the things. Bugga Joe and I were actually talking about that the other day. Like if you had a character that's, a loadout, right, that just does all of the special stuff, right? Everything that you have to have a special class for. So like a gnomish, like rogue, shaman, and I feel like there was something else, but the gnome for the tinkering, the rogue for the poison making, and the shaman for the potion making. I think there was something else, but I don't recall what the last class was we were talking about. But it feels like it would make sense to do that so that you could be able to do all of the things without having a bunch of different characters, or having to switch to a bunch of different loadouts, all in one situation there. But anyway, I haven't made any such thing yet. Obviously, I haven't made any loadouts yet. I'm not even level 10 yet on this character, believe it or not. Moving right along here on the fishing, already up to 83. It doesn't take long to get your skills up in this game, I've noticed. Just in general. The cooking and everything. It's very fast, and especially when you're comparing it to EverQuest 2, it's much faster as far as your skilling up of your trade skills. Oh right, enchanter, that's right. Good job above the chemist. And above the chemist says add enchanter to that loadout to make jewel crafting a bit easier. Although jewel crafting is not exclusive to enchanter. Right, okay, so my understanding from people was that you need to have an enchanter so that you can make the enchanted, enchanted ore or whatever it is, the enchanted plate things, and so another the ingredients that you're using to make the armor and whatnot, you have to use enchanted stuff to make it, and so that's the only way you can get it enchanted. Something like that. Ah, we got another fresh fish. Finally. I think that the fresh fish is kind of what I'm going for right now. I feel like on beta I had gotten up a little higher than 100 fishing skill, and I had started to catch some other kinds of fish, and I also had found that if you fish in different locations, you seem to get different kinds of fish, just like with the foraging. And if you forage in different locations, you get different kinds of things that you forage. And I'm actually looking forward to hitting like level 12, because I think that level 12 is where I start foraging with, maybe not, maybe not. There was something special about level 12. Actually, it may be level 10 when I'm going to get to start foraging, because I'm going to have shaman in my loadout for that. Also, I am going to have to remember how to do the loadout thing once I hit level 10. I think that there's something about your gear. Maybe before the gear didn't switch over and I had to go and press some button or something like that. Don't remember. Remember there being something about changing the loadout and having to press some button somewhere beyond just the one that switches, right? So I've almost got up to level 100 on this one. Above the chemist says you need an enchanter to enchant the metal, but non-enchanters can still skill up jewel crafting using non-enchanted metals. Tinkering, poison making, and alchemy are all race class exclusive. Right, exactly, yeah. So adding the enchanter just makes you able to do all of the things. So you could definitely do it. You could definitely have one character that is all of that, and then anytime you want to go do some crafting, you could switch to that character and be good to go, or switch to that loadout rather. I still have a lot of experimentation to do with the loadouts to see exactly how that works, because previously I just switched the loadout to add a class, not to change my classes. So when you hit level 10 or 11, whatever the case, when you're locked in at level 11. So we should see. When we get to that point. But I do look forward to seeing how it changes different things. Like, I'm pretty sure that faction was unaffected by switching to the different loadout. I think that your skills were still the same too. I want to say. Not sure. All right. So I'm thinking about this. We've gotten, I think, over 50 skill points since I started just a little while ago in fishing. And yet, we have only gotten 6 fresh fish out of the deal. The rest of it is all junk we've fished out of the water that people have apparently thrown in or otherwise lost. Now, why they're throwing all these rusty daggers in here is actually a question. And I think that maybe there's something a little fishy going on with citizens here in Felwithe, because I can understand losing the shoes, right? Because maybe you're sitting on the bridge, you're hanging out, I don't know, maybe you're just sort of appreciating the day up on that bridge there. And maybe your shoe falls off, can't get it at the time, it sinks to the bottom, and eventually here I come along and fish it out. That makes some sense to me. Of course it's tattered by the time I get to it. Now, whether or not it was tattered when it went in, I don't know. They all seem to be tattered. But you know, they've been in the water maybe for a while, and that makes some sense. I can understand why the daggers were rusty. Maybe they weren't rusty when they went into the water, but surely they can get rusty pretty quickly. But the problem that I'm having is, why are they dropping actually more knives, more daggers into the water? These are not just regular knives, these are daggers, right? So they're hanging out, and maybe they're sitting on the bridge, but why are they dropping their daggers into the water so often? And how am I fishing those out so regularly? So I feel like you know, having fished, it's a lot harder to fish up a dagger than it is to fish up a sandal. Now that being said, I personally have never fished a dagger out of the water. I don't know about you guys. That's not been my experience. I have fished up shoes before. That's happened. Things like that, sure. Never a dagger, not once. So I'm wondering about the citizens here in Felwithe, and maybe the situation is a little different than we immediately thought. Perhaps it's not that people are losing their shoes while they're hanging out on the bridge. Maybe this is Felwithe's place that that their mob maybe is tossing the bodies, right? And the only question then becomes, why are we not fishing more clothes out, right? So we've got shoes and we've got daggers, and that makes a little bit of sense if some bodies are being thrown into the water, or maybe even if people are diving off and committing suicide in that, right? But the question becomes, where are their other clothing, right? Their other clothes. Where's their shirts and their pants and even their hats, right? Like I'm not seeing any hats coming out of this water. So what's going on here? Are they otherwise naked? Right? So they have on shoes and a dagger, and that's it? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. Fellow citizens are making me wonder here. I don't know about them. Above the chemist says, looking over the trade skill list, a gnome, enchanter, shaman, rogue would indeed cover all the basics. That is quite a cool idea, actually. Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, came up with that one. I thought it was a grand idea. Because hey, you know, why switch to all these different guys when you can just switch to one guy and have it all? Makes life easy. I'm sure there are other cool things that you can do like that. I don't know what, but that's just it's just one of the opportunities available. I feel like we've really increased our fishing significantly. Now at 105 fishing, and I definitely have the shoes to show for it. But I'm feeling like I'm about ready to turn in some of these tattered sandals to old Lanadin over there, and then make our way to a forge and deal with some of these rusty daggers. Now, I don't know where the forge is in Felwithe. I don't know if there is a forge in Felwithe, but I think we can find that out very quickly. It's interesting how close Felwithe is to Telethin and Kaladin. Feels like, I don't know, it feels like they are close enough that they wouldn't necessarily both have all the same kinds of workbenches. But maybe, I don't know, maybe they do. I haven't explored it previously because prior to the other day, I didn't have enough faction with the Felwithe people to be able to trade with them and at all in any way except for old Leonard over there. And so I was having a little bit better luck, I suppose, in Kelethin because I was doing hunting and turning in faction stuff up there anyway. At this point, though, there's no real need for me to go to Kelethin right now if Felwithe has what I need. I know that they have a brewing barrel down at the bottom of one of the buildings. I don't know if they have other things. Also, there's two parts of Felwithe. I think northern and southern, something, you know, something like that. Let's see. Yes, northern, or well, southern anyway. That's very interesting. Southern Felwithe is, it appears to be north of me. It's very strange. So I head north to get to southern Felwithe. Interesting. Okay. So where I'm currently in northern Felwithe, according to this. My mind is blown. Head north from northern Felwithe, and you'll reach southern Felwithe. Cool. All right. Above the chemist says maybe the daggers are from young adventurers not suited to the adventuring life who throw their starting dagger into the pond and go off to become a merchant. Maybe so. Maybe so. Or there's another option. Maybe a merchant was traveling across the bridge and all he had was daggers, right? Like that's his entire wares, and it's a whole cart full, right? And the whole thing turned over, spilled into the harbor here, and it's just daggers. You just don't even want to swim in here. You don't even want to walk. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be honest. Okay, this is becoming a little bit more clear. So maybe the storyline is the merchant lost a huge shipment of daggers in here. Afterward, young folks would come in and try to go swim in the water, and their feet would get cut on all of the daggers that are in there. And so they started wearing their shoes. So they're coming into the water. They've got their shoes on just in case there happens to be some wayward daggers around. Every once in a while, one of them loses a shoe while they're in there, or maybe even they step on a dagger and obviously it cuts through in spite of all the rust, and then they lose their shoe that way. They take it off, whatever. This would make some amount of sense, right? I like the lost merchant cart idea here. I don't know, maybe I could learn more. I haven't talked to these people very much because, as I mentioned previously, they wouldn't really talk to me. They didn't like me very much here. I'm an ogre, and for some reason, people just don't like ogres. They send them out to live in swamps and stuff, and then they try to kick them out of swamps, from what I understand. And it makes a lot of sense there, too, because the ogres start in Agak, which is right by Inithul Swamp. So, you know, as an ogre, you're sort of relegated. Ogres are like Louisianans, right? So they got kicked out of, they get kicked out of France, and they get kicked out of Canada, and then they sort of travel along getting kicked out until they land in the swamp. Ogres and Louisianans, same, right? Okay. I'm glad we've established that, and now I'm wondering about my ogre accent here. I don't know. I have to think on that one for a bit. For now, I've done enough fishing. This will be my last cast for the moment. Got a lot of tattered sandals. Didn't catch anything with that one. Let's come over to Lanadan and see what he has to say. Alright, here he is. Let's give him some wares. Surely somebody out there needs some of these tattered sandals, and they're going to be super happy to come to be able to buy them. I was thinking initially that maybe the tattered sandals could be used in the same way that like the rusty stuff could be used for doing blacksmithing, that maybe there would be a similar thing going on with tailoring, but I haven't seen any evidence of that. I haven't seen any way to like turn tattered sandals into swaths of fabric or something like that. Where am I going? I don't know. Why do I still have my equipment on here like this? Let's trade this club back out for the fishing pole, which we now know can break. And that's vital knowledge. Alright, now let's see if we can find a forge around these parts. The forge we do. There's 2 forges. Nice. So there's all kinds of good stuff around here, and no need whatsoever to go back to Felwithe at this time. However, it should be noted that there is a guy around this corner who will definitely try to kill me. And so it's some kind of a bard, I think. I don't know. So we won't go that way anyway. We're gonna run around this way, because I don't think there's anybody this way who tries to kill me. And since I am going to navigate better using the map, I'm just going to keep my screen on the map and run into a lot of walls. Anybody who sees me running along is going to think, wow, what in the world is that ogre doing? It's okay. Running into a wall is what we're doing. All right. Here it is. This is the right direction according to this map. It's emerald armor. Now, hopefully none of these folks will attack me. So that would be a shame. Is this the forge? Looks like the forge to me. It is. Wonderful. All right, let's click the personal depot here. Okay. First and foremost, we need to turn these rusty daggers into tarnished daggers. Tarnished dagger. I like it. Plenty of them. So let's combine it and auto inventory. I got plenty of these sharpening stones. Whenever I picked up a few, I just went ahead and got 500 because why not, right? It's cheap enough, and I'm going to be using, I can't imagine not going through 500 if, if you're doing any amount of blacksmithing, it just makes sense. So grabbed those and should be good to go on them for a while. Go through them fairly quickly, I would say. So now that we've done that, let's do parentheses open, if I can click buttons properly. There we go. And then a T space D to try to get to the tarnished dagger, small piece of ore. I'm going to make as many of these small pieces of ore as I can. Then we're going to go from there to metal bits. Now, none of this is giving me any skill because my blacksmithing skill is up to 53, and these recipes for all of these things are trivial. Which in this game, if the number underneath trivial is green, then that means it is, and it also means that you don't get more skill points for doing that. Okay, so we got that. Now let's do metal bits and make some of those, as many as we can. Above the chemist says, unlocking gnome race doesn't look too hard overall for the master trade store idea. Although it's not clear if starting from ogre would present challenges. Odds are good. It seems to me so far that starting as a gnome starting as an ogre presents challenges across the board in everything that I've attempted, pretty much. Which is fine. I don't mind a challenge. All right, so we made some metal bits. Now, can we go forward with our other plan, which was bread tins, cake tins, and muffin tins? So bread, we're going to type in. And let's see. Do we have everything? We do. We've got everything to try to make a bread tin. Pretty sure I don't have one yet, but just in case, let's go find item and make 100% certain that we don't have it. So we want to make sure to have our trade skill depot button checked. And then we want to type in bread tin. I have a bread tin mold and I don't have bread tin. That's wonderful. That's exactly what I want to see. Okay. Same with the cake tin. Let's go ahead and check on it while we're here. No cake tin items whatsoever. How's about a muffin tin? We have a muffin tin mold, no muffin tin. All right. Sounds good. Now, if I fail at this, I don't have another muffin tin or another bread tin. Who knows? We'll see. 81% chance we succeeded in making a bread tin. Wonderful. All right, there it is. Now, how's about, it looks like I'm not probably going to be able to make the cake tin because I didn't have a cake tin mold. Not only that, I apparently don't have it in my recipe book at all yet. So it was something that I required for some recipe, but I have no way to make it yet. Here's the muffin tin. And we have an 84% chance of this working. It did work. Wonderful. So now we have a muffin tin as well as a bread tin. And I'm going to mark those off the list. The only other thing that I need that I had the recipes for at the time was the cake tin. All right. Above the chemist says you might try the high/wood elf unlock and then approach the gnome unlocked as an elf. They might receive you more kindly. Just brainstorming. Yeah, that's a possibility. I think too, I think I can make friends with gnomes by killing minotaurs. I think. That's what I have been told. So possibly. Maybe if I kill enough minotaurs, then the gnomes will love me. It's interesting. There's a lot of that, like, if you kill a bunch of these things, then we can be friends, Kind of interesting. All right. So got those made, and I still have some metal bits remaining, which is cool. I'm sure I'll need them later. I could stop by a bank at some point and get it. Uh, Above the commit says, yes, dead minotaurs equal happy gnomes. Yes, so it seems. Okay, let's try. Well, I guess while I'm in the area, I should check around and see if any of these folks have any smithing supplies, perhaps. Maybe it would be called just cake, a cake mold, cake tin mold. Don't see anything like that here. I feel like maybe I would need, you know what, that's probably what it was. Probably need to make the cake tin mold from pottery, right? Maybe. And then I could fire it and be good on the cake tin mold. Not sure, but possibly. We'll make sure that nothing like that is over here. No luck so far. Now somebody has traded in a good number of tarnished items, which someone could grab and then make some ore with if they so choose. Want to come this way, up these stairs, and see if there's anything fun up here. We've got an open door. There's nothing in it, just a chest of drawers and a bed. It's like a little inn room or someone's home. Ooh, smithing supplies, very nice. That's what I wanted to find. All right, breastplate mold. Okay, all kinds of good stuff, but none of them are cake tin molds. You know what? I don't think they're called cake tin molds. Are they called cake rounds? Is that what they're called? Maybe. Wonder then if I searched poorly a moment ago. Let's try this again. Find item, and this time we're just going to type in cake. Because maybe port is different. Cake round mold, very nice. So, do have that. In which case, I'm going to go back down and just try typing in cake and see if we get anything out. Cake. Search recipes. Hey, awesome. There she is. Okay, wonderful. Cake round. Click on that. Let's try to combine. Got it. Great. All right, perfect. Now, unfortunately, these items do not go into into the trade skill detail. So you do have to kind of carry this around. Now, what I do see is that the muffin tins are stackable. If it's stackable, then it is able to go in to the personal depot, trade skill depot. So, while I can't stack any of the rest of these things, I can stack the muffin tins. Great. Now, I have heard that your bread tin, specifically the bread tin, can break. What's interesting is it doesn't stack. So it's breakable. It's potentially disposable in the same way that your fishing rod apparently is. But neither of those items stack. Weird, right? I wonder, I just had a thought like maybe I can merge them. I can't merge them together. Okay. So they don't stack, you can't merge them. You just have to be patient and wait for your bread to break, and then you can make another one. Of course, you could make another one in advance of that and be ready for it to break later. But I don't really, who wants to go around with a whole bunch of bread tins, right? Casual underscore says hello. Well, hello, casual. How are you doing? Let's see if I can find a stove around here without getting killed by that bard around the corner. Okay, press M, and then we're going to go down to the oven. Because I think I would like to use some of this fish. Excellent. There's one right over there. Let's go for it. Casual says, how goes the baking? Oh, well, I'm about to find out. I was doing a little bit of blacksmithing, and it went very well. And now we'll do a little bit of baking over here, and then I can tell you how it's going. Now, what is, okay, that's jewel crafting supplies person, but this says, oh, with fish house. Haven't been in the fish house yet, I don't think. Not that I recall anyway. Who's in here? A general supplies merchant. Let's check that out. Bottle of fish, fish wine, fish cakes, fresh fish. So you could just buy fresh fish from this one. Iron ration, meat pie ration, and water. All right, do we have... How close are we? Pretty close to the oven. Okay, it's behind simplistic cloak of the night moon. All right. Let's see. There's a merchant right here for jewel crafting, which is kind of strange, right beside the oven, but that's okay. I'll accept it. All right. Search recipes. Um, casual underscore says an ogre baker and Felwithe. Now I've seen everything. Absolutely. Yes. Gotta make myself some fish, hopefully. Let's sort by the level. And I would like to do something that I am not quite high enough to do yet. So how about some fish head soup? That seems fun. Okay, now you'll notice that we need one pot. But what I've noticed is that the pot seems pretty durable. I don't know if it can break, but certainly it has not broken yet. There's also a jug of sauces needed for this. And I will run out of sauces, but I think there's a place around here that I can get more sauces. I think. I believe that it's over near the brewing barrel, which is strangely in a completely different area than the oven. Let's go ahead and do some combines on this and see how it goes. Okay, we got our pot back and some fish head soup. Interesting, they both showed up. Bogajoa says, I don't think the pots break. Great. Good to hear. So far, I haven't had a broken pot. That doesn't mean to me that it necessarily won't break. So far, so good on the fish head soup. Definitely going to run out of the sauces in just a second. That's okay. Can't have everything in life, right? All right, now, make sure I'm out of those. I am out of those. I could probably go get some more. I have 5 more fresh fish that I could work with. Above the chemist said, have cooked lots of rabbit and vegetable stew over the years and never lost a pot yet. That's great. Glad to hear it. I have not cooked a single rabbit stew yet. I fully intend to cook vegetable soup as soon as I start my foraging and maybe get vegetables. So far, hasn't been happening. I will need this jug of sauces for that as well. So probably I'm going to want to invest a good amount into the jug of sauces whenever I go over there and pick some up. Certainly, I need many more ingredients to get very far with this. I do want to check and see what it is that I can do with the fish scales. So I feel like there was something I could do. Just don't remember what it was. I don't have any of the special fish yet. Buggajoy says can get brewing up pretty well with vegetable oil. I'm sure that's probably true. I don't have any vegetables yet. I probably could buy some from someone who has had them traded into them. That just hasn't happened yet. These are spices. These are also spices. So we need spices for sure. We need a jug of sauces. Oh, that's cool. Smoked shark. I don't have any shark and I don't have any spices, but at least I do have the smoker. That's something, right? Any fruit can make apricot marmalade. How interesting. It doesn't have to be apricot at all. It can just be random fruit that I found on the ground. Cool. Who knew? All right, now I can make cookies. I was pretty sure that I couldn't make cookies previously, but now I can. Spiced cookies, it seems. So we would need frosting. We need a lot of frosting. And we're going to need spices. And then clump of dough. I don't know. I wonder if that's something that I can make. Not sure. I have 200 of cups of flour. That's good. I have a bread tin. Awesome. Yeast, yes. I don't have pumpkin flesh, but pumpkin flesh seems to be being used for many things. Egg batter? No, don't have it. Glue. Awesome. Who's our bones to make glue with? And thunder salmon. So we could use thunder salmon bones if we had some of those. Buggajoa says no merchant is going to have vegetables because they don't sell for anything. Ah, what a shame. Need a mixing bowl to make dough. I don't have a mixing bowl yet, but I did see that I can make one with pottery. Mixing bowl is one of the things. Okay, so let's see if I have the ability to make dough yet anyway. And maybe too low. Looks like I'm too low level or something. That's kind of sad, isn't it? Like not being able to make dough. And that feels extremely basic to me. Like dough is one of the things that, it's not particularly difficult to make. You don't need a lot of ingredients. And I would think that, why would you need a great deal of skill for that? It's very strange. Let's check on the fishing supplies here. Wow. Dagger, sure. Fish wine, fish cakes, fishing bait, fishing pole, fresh fish, large bag, and short ale. You need a little bit of ale for your fishing. That's a necessity, obviously. Above the chemist. Oh, wait. Buggajoa says you can also buy one. Nice. Above the chemist says enjoy the baking. I'll catch the rest of the stream on a replay. Nice, nice. Buggajoa says you just need a mixing bowl. The mixing bowl is like a portable crafting station. Oh. Well, that's interesting. So you just need one mixing bowl. And then you're good to go for eternity. Hopefully. Never break your mixing bowl. Okay, let's see. Where was that? Let's go find. And then down here, there's somewhere over here, there's a brewing barrel. And I don't need to go to the brewing barrel. Exactly what I need to go to is the area above the brewing barrel. So that's where we can buy some of these components that I need. Am I going the right way? No, I'm not going the right way. I lost the wisp is the problem. Is this it? This looks like a tavern, right? Sure. Let's try it. It is. It's great. Okay. So general supplies is right here. None of those are what I need. Next, growing supplies guy. Okay. He's got some grapes, which is cool. I will need barley and hops, malt. Those are all recurring themes. I don't think that I have any rice because I didn't feel that I needed rice at the time that I was here. But let's check and see. Maybe I have some stashed somewhere. I don't. I was low on money at the time. I'm gonna go ahead and get some rice. I don't know how many I need, so let's get 20 of them for now, in case it comes up. Okay. There's wine yeast, and then there's regular yeast. I'm down to 4 gold now. That was a very quick way to use all my money. Rice is expensive around these parts. All right, general supplies guy. Doesn't have what I was looking for. I was thinking for some reason that these guys did have some of those supplies. I can't even remember what it was exactly. I was thinking they had, but that's okay. Sure, I can find them somewhere. What's in here? I don't remember there being anything. There's not. Just a table, a chair, well, a chest of drawers actually. A table, chair, a chest of drawers, and a bed. And here we are at the brewing station. Well, let's see if we've got anything to brew while we're here. And really, I'm mostly interested in getting my skills up right now, not so much in necessarily what I can brew. So I could do some ale. Don't have any way to do cod oil. None of that. Fish oil, no, nothing doing there. So far, nada. All right. Definitely need to find some of that pumpkin somewhere. Would be a fine thing. Yes, it's the it's the spices that I wanted. I just remembered. For some reason, I was thinking that the spices were sold over here. Clearly, they're not. Maybe I will have to go see. There's a baker somewhere. Where is the baker? The baker is the one who has some of these items that I need. And I had thought that the baker was here, but perhaps I was wrong. Very highly possible. So far, none of this is only I had some strange dark fungus. Yeah. So none of that. The only thing that will be useful at all is the ale. I can go ahead and get it up 4 points. May as well. Let's do it. What's crazy is you get so many of the ale in one go. Casual says, can you make stat food? Would pay. I have no idea, honestly. Um, I can make lots of different kinds of food. As to whether they have stats or not, I'm uncertain. I don't know how to find out. Without just trying to eat one and see what happens. So because if you click on it, you do this um and it doesn't say anything about what it gives you. So would it tell me if I could? I don't know. I can make fish head soup, I know that. You would think that some of it would give you stats, but I'm not sure. I know there are places that you can go to check and see what gives food, what gives stats, and what doesn't. But I don't know. Buggajoy says that wolf steak adds 1 stamina. That's cool. Casual says it should tell you on the description. I've heard that, but I haven't found it to be true yet. Um, but maybe so. Maybe it tells you on the wolf steak, and maybe the rest of those just don't add any stats. I can go. I can't even make any wolf steak right now because I don't have any wolf meat. But and I don't have any in my bags either. I think I had made something. Well, maybe it was just the pickled lizard that I'm thinking of. I may not have made any. I feel like I made a sandwich of some kind. I know I did. Not too long ago. I thought it was a wolf sandwich, but I could be wrong. And I don't see it, but I might have eaten it. What to say? One doesn't remember what one eats, does one? Ah, made it up to 68 brewing. So, moving right along. Let's do another search here just to see what shows up. Did we get anything new? Doesn't really look like it. All right, once I can get my foraging going, that's gonna make a big difference over here. My poor ogre is so big. All right, here we are. Out of there. I feel so much freer now that I can stand up. Okay, I don't need this anymore. We're in the find. Okay, I think I have. The only other thing that I might want to do would be to use up the fish scales, but I don't know that I necessarily want to right now because I don't really need to. Like, I might be able to use them later in some other recipe. And right now, it won't get my skills up for me to do so. So there's no real need to. Let's see here. Where am I? Yes, if I go this way, I should be able to get out of here. And then I could go and kill some wolves, and then maybe we can find out if we can make. Said that wolf steak adds 1 stamina. What I would need to do probably is find a baker so that I could get the jugs of sauce and spices. But I'd have to have a little bit of money first, so I'm pretty much broke. That being said, I could sell some of that ale that I just made, and get a little bit of money back. So that's a possibility. But first, let's go hunting for some black wolves. Because they're nearby. I just remembered too, I'm also going to kill this pawn just because I want to kill the orcs and get some faction higher. But yes, I was thinking something. What was it? I'm gonna auto mute on that. Wait, that was a terrible idea. I should have kept auto merge, so that was orc hatching. I was just thinking that it was a rusty one, but it was not. Apparently, it looks like I need to get going actually, because it is time for me to prepare to go play another game of Magic. I'm doing another draft today. So I suppose I will call it right over here and see you guys later on. I might not be back on today, probably not, but I should be back on tomorrow. Hopefully I will see all of you then. If you're not following me yet, then be sure to follow me and turn on notifications so that you can see the next time that I go live. I'll see all of you later.